Months passed on the icy moon and life settled into a quiet rhythm. Lily and Vela worked side by side in the sanctuary's archive dome, translating ancient glyphs that glowed faintly under soft light. Each symbol carried stories of Vela's people. Their songs of starbirth, their laws of harmony, their warnings about the Krell, the hive mind that had devoured her world. One memory at a time, Lily learned that Vela's beauty was not just in her shimmering skin or violet eyes, but in the weight. She carried the last living thread of a civilization that once sang to galaxies now silent. Vela in turn learned human things, the warmth of shared soup, the sound of laughter in cold air, the way Lily's eyes crinkled when she smiled too. Big Nora watched them with quiet approval. She had seen many refugees come through her sanctuary, but never one guarded so fiercely by a human who asked for nothing in return. One morning alarms blared through the domes. Not the soft chime of drills, but the sharp cry of real danger sensors picked up a cloaked vessel approaching from the outer rim. No signal, no identification. Just a shadow sliding through the ice rings. Vela went pale, her glyphs dimming. "We cannot stay," Lily grabbed her hand. "We are not. Leaving without a plant." They met Nora in the command hub where holograms flickered with data streams. The ship was Krell, but different, sleeker, faster, built not for war but for hunting. It carried a resonance tracker designed to lock onto Vela's genetic signature. "They found the archive in my blood," Vela whispered. Nora tapped commands into the console. "We can mask your signal for a while, but not forever." "Then we move," Lily said. "Not just move." Nora said, "We hide where even the Krell cannot follow." She pulled up a star map and pointed to a dead zone near the edge of known space, a place called the Veil, a nebula, so dense with magnetic interference that no ship had ever returned from it. Some called it a graveyard. Others, a myth. Vela stared at the swirling red clouds on the screen. "My ancestors spoke of it. They called it the Cradle of Silence. The one place the Krell fear." Lily nodded. "Then that is where we go." Preparations began at once. They loaded a reinforced shuttle with supplies, archive, crystals, food, water, and a small seed vault from the sanctuary. Nora gave Lily a data chip sealed in titanium. "Do not open it unless you are beyond the Veil." She said, "Your lives may depend on it." As they boarded the shuttle, snow began to fall soft, and silent like a farewell, Vela looked back at the domes where she had first felt safe, then turned to Lily and squeezed her hand. The shuttle lifted through the thin atmosphere and punched into fold space, leaving the sanctuary behind within hours. The Krell hunter emerged from the ice ring, scanning the empty landing pad. It hovered for a moment, then turned and vanished into the dark inside. The shuttle Lily studied the star charts, while Vela monitored the resonance dampeners. The journey would take 6 days if the fold drives held. If they did not, they would be stranded in the void with no hope of rescue. On the 3rd day, the dampeners began to fail. A low hum filled the cabin. Vela's skin flickered with stress, glyphs flaring red. "They are close," Lily said, not a question. Vela nodded. "We must jump early." But early meant emerging near the Veil's outer storm's unstable plasma fields that could tear the shuttle apart. Lily set her jaw. "Do it." Vela input. The coordinates, and the ship lurched. As it dropped out of fold space too soon, violent turbulence shook the hull. Alarms screamed, but Lily held course, weaving through arcs of lightning that crackled like angry gods. Behind them, the Krell ship appeared, its black hull absorbing light. Like a wound in space, it fired not weapons but a sonic pulse meant to shatter Vela's genetic lock. The shuttle bucked. Lily lost control for a heartbeat, then regained it. She dove straight into the heart of the Veil, where even stars dared not shine. Darkness swallowed them. No sensors, no comms, no light. Only the soft hum of life support and the sound of their breathing. For 2 days, they drifted blind. Vela meditated to keep her glyphs calm. Lily checked systems every hour, her fingers numb with cold and worry. On the 3rd day, a faint glow appeared ahead, not from stars but from within the nebula itself, a soft blue radiance pulsing like a heartbeat. "What is that?" Vela whispered. Lily checked the scanners. Nothing registered, but her eyes did not lie. The glow grew brighter, shaping into arches and spires made of light. "It is not a ship," Lily said. "It is a place." They approached slowly, the shuttle groaning under unseen pressure. Then, without warning, the glow parted like a curtain and they floated into a vast open space inside the nebula. Floating islands of crystal hung in the air, connected by bridges of light in the center, rose a structure shaped like a blooming flower, its petals made of shifting energy. Vela gasped. This is the cradle. As they landed on a crystal platform, figures emerged, not solid but made of light, tall and graceful, with eyes like Vela's. Violet and gold, you carry the last song, the tallest one said, her voice echoing in their minds, not through sound but through feeling. Vela stepped forward. The being bowed. Then you are welcome here. The Krell cannot enter this place. Their minds are too loud, too sharp, they shatter against the silence. Lily stayed by the shuttle, unsure if she belonged here, but Vela reached back and took her hand. She comes with me. The beings nodded. She carries the quiet heart. She is welcome. They were led into the central spire where walls pulsed with living records older than galaxies. Vela touched one and images flooded, her mind cities of light. Oceans of thought beings who lived not in bodies but in shared dreams. This is where my people began, Vela whispered, and where they will return if you plant the seed. The being said. Lily remembered Nora's chip. She opened it and found a small crystalline pod inside it, hummed with familiar energy. It's a bioarchive. Nora had recorded it. Holds fragments of Earth life, DNA plant seeds, microbial cultures. Even human memories recorded in light. Vela understood at once. We will blend our stories. Together they placed the pod at the heart of the spire where light converged. The pod opened and released a soft green mist that swirled with blue and gold as it mixed with the energy of the cradle. New life began to form. Not human, not Vela's people, but something new born of both days turned to weeks. Lily learned to walk the light bridges, to listen to the silence that spoke in colors. Vela taught the beings about Earth, its oceans, its music, its stubborn hope. One evening, as they stood on the highest island watching nebula storms rage harmlessly outside the cradle, Vela turned to Lily. You gave up everything for me. Lily shook her head. I gained everything because of you. Vela smiled, and for the first time her glyphs glowed not with memory but with joy. Then the ground trembled. The beings of light gathered at the edge of the cradle, their forms flickering in alarm. The veil weakens. A voice said, The Krell have found a way. They built a mind anchor, a device that mimics silence but carries their hunger within. Lily looked at Vela. We cannot let them in. We will not, the beings said, but the cradle must be protected from the inside. Someone must stay to guard the seed. Vela stepped forward. I will. No, Lily said firmly. We both will. The beings exchanged glances, then bowed. You are one heart. Now you may stay. But before the decision could settle, a new presence entered the cradle. Not through force, but through invitation. The Krell ship hovered at the edge. Its hull cracked, open not with weapons but with a single figure stepping onto the crystal platform. It was not a monster, but a woman, pale and thin, with eyes hollowed by grief. She wore tattered robes marked with faded glyphs. Vela froze. That is my sister. The woman fell to her knees. I was taken young, remade, but I remember you. The Krell had not just destroyed Vela's world. They had twisted its children into weapons, and this one had broken free. Vela ran to her sister and held her as she wept. The cradle's light wrapped around them, healing what it could. Lily understood. Then the true fight was not against the Krell, but for the souls they had stolen. She turned to the beings of light. Can you help her? Yes, but it will take time. And the Krell will not wait. Then we buy that time. Lily said. She and Vela worked through the night using the shuttle's systems and the cradle's energy to build a resonance shield, not to hide but to call to others like Vela's sister scattered across the galaxy, a signal of hope coded in lullabies and star maps. As dawn of light broke over the crystal islands, the signal pulsed out into the void, somewhere far away. A Krell drone paused its hunt. A memory flickered in its mind. A mother's voice, a name, long forgotten. Back in the cradle, Vela's sister slept peacefully, her glyphs slowly returning to color. Lily stood beside Vela, watching the endless storm outside the Veildo. You think it will work? Lily asked. Vela took her hand. As long as one heart remembers the song, it will never end. And in that quiet place between stars, two women held on to each other. Not as savior and saved, but as equals. Guardians of a future written in light and love. The Krell would come again, but so would hope, and this time it would be ready. In the quiet hum of the xenobiology wing aboard the deep space research vessel, Orion Lily watched the alien princess through reinforced glass. The princess, tall and luminous, with opalescent skin that shimmered like moonlight. On water, stood perfectly, still in her containment chamber. Her long silver hair floated slightly as if underwater, and her eyes, large violet and ringed with faint gold, held a depth that made Lily feel both seen and insignificantly. Was not a soldier, not a diplomat, not even a high-ranking scientist. She was a junior xenolinguist barely out of training, assigned to observe and record the princess's behavior. Earth had intercepted the princess's escape pod drifting near the Kuiper Belt. 3 weeks ago, scans showed no weapons, no distress signal, just one lone figure curled in stasis wrapped in silk that pulsed with soft blue light. Now, after thawing and quarantine, the princess remained silent. No one could get her to speak, not even with the universal translator, humming at full capacity. But Lily kept coming back every shift. She stood at the observation window, notebook in hand, whispering greetings in every known alien dialect the database held. The princess never responded until today. As Lily leaned closer, her breath fogging the glass, she whispered almost to herself, "You are so beautiful I can't speak." The princess froze, her head turned slowly. Those violet eyes locking onto Lily's for the first time since her arrival. She moved with purpose. She stepped, forward bare feet, silent on the smooth floor until her palm pressed flat against the glass directly opposite Lily's face. Lily's heart hammered. She should report this. She should call Dr. Carter or security. But something in the princess's gaze held, her still a mixture of sorrow, recognition, and something like hope. Then, without warning, the lights in the chamber flickered. Alarms blared briefly before cutting off. The containment field shimmered and died. The heavy door hissed open. Lily stumbled back, but the princess did not rush out. She simply stepped through the doorway, her silk robes trailing behind her, and stopped inches from Lily. "You spoke truth," the princess said. Her voice was soft, melodic, layered like wind through crystal chimes. "No one has said that to me in cycles." Lily swallowed. "I didn't mean to. You are," the princess tilted her head. "You are Lily Jr., xenolinguist, designation Gamma 7. You come every cycle. You speak to me when others only scan, test, or stare." Lily blinked. "You knew my name." "I hear everything," the princess said, "but only your voice carried warmth. Only your words held no fear." Before Lily could respond, heavy boots echoed down the corridor. Security. They'd noticed the containment breach. "They will take me back," the princess said, her voice tight, or worse. Lily acted without thinking. She grabbed the princess's hand, cool and smooth like polished stone, and pulled her toward a service corridor. "This way." They ran. Lily's mind raced faster than her feet. She knew every shortcut, every blind spot in the ship's surveillance. She'd mapped them during late-night shifts when boredom overcame caution. Now that knowledge might save them both, they ducked into a maintenance shaft, crawling through narrow tunnels. Lit only by emergency strips, the princess moved with surprising grace, her long limbs folding neatly, her breathing steady. "Why help me?" she asked as they paused in a junction box. "Because you are not a threat." Lily said, "You are a person." "And they are treating you like a specimen." The princess studied her. "Your kind fears what it does not understand." "Not all of us," Lily replied. They emerged near the cargo bay. Lily accessed a terminal with her clearance badge, fingers flying over the keys she initiated. A false diagnostic alert on deck 4, enough to draw security away. Then she opened Bay 3, where a small scout shuttle sat fueled and ready for routine asteroid sampling. "Get in," Lily said. The princess hesitated. "You would leave your ship, your life? I'd rather lose my job than lose my conscience," Lily said. The shuttle lifted off silently, slipping past the Orion's outer sensors, just as alarms began to blare across the main deck. Lily plotted a course for the nearest neutral zone, a cluster of derelict mining stations near Titan's orbit. It wasn't safe, but it was unmonitored. As they drifted into the void, the princess finally relaxed. She sat in the co-pilot seat, her hands resting lightly on her knees. "My name is Vela," she said. Lily replied, though Vela already knew my world is gone. Vela said quietly, consumed by the Krell, a hive mind species that strips planets of life and memory. I was sent away as the last heir of my people, carrying our archive in my blood. Lily stared. Your blood, Vela held out her wrist beneath the opalescent skin. Faint glyphs glowed, shifting living symbols, our history, our songs, our science, all encoded in my DNA. The Krell hunt me to erase us completely. Lily's chest ached. Then we have to protect you. Why? Vela asked, again, her violet eyes searching Lily's face. You owe me nothing, because someone has to, Lily said, and if no one else will, then it is me. They reached the mining station without incident. It was old, rusted, but functional. Lily patched into the comms array and sent a coded message to a contact she'd met at a xenolinguistics conference, Dr. Nora Ellis, a rogue astrophysicist who ran a sanctuary for displaced alien refugees on a hidden moon in the Oort. Cloud Nora replied within minutes. Bring her, we will. Keep her safe. But as they prepared to leave the station, sensors pinged a Krell scout ship, sleek black and bristling with organic-looking weapons, dropped out of warp nearby. They found me, Vela whispered. Lily's hands tightened on the controls, not while, in flying, she fired the thrusters, weaving through debris fields and ice chunks using the station's bulk as cover. The Krell ship was faster, but Lily knew these sectors better. She led them into a dense plasma storm near Saturn's magnetosphere where human ships rarely ventured. The shuttle rattled violently. Alarms flashed red. Vela gripped her seat, her glyphs flaring bright. Hold on. Lily yelled over the roars. She dove into the storm's heart where electromagnetic interference scrambled sensors. The Krell ship faltered, its organic hull sparking. Lily used the moment to punch in a jump sequence Nora had sent, coordinates, locked engines, prime. As the shuttle vanished into fold space, the last thing Lily saw was the Krell ship exploding in the storm's fury. They emerged near a small icy moon, its surface dotted with domes and greenhouses. Nora waited on the landing pad, bundled in a thermal coat, her face lined, but Vela stepped out first. Nora bowed deeply. Your Highness, we have been waiting. Vela looked back at Lily. You don't have to stay. Lily smiled. I think I do. Weeks passed. Vela began sharing her people's knowledge with the sanctuaries. Scholars, Lily helped translate her skills, growing with every glyph. Vela revealed they walked the moons, surfaced together, watching twin suns rise over frozen plains. One evening as they sat in the observatory dome, Vela turned to Lily. You said I was beautiful. Do you still believe it? Lily met her gaze more than ever. Vela's eyes shimmered. Then let me show you what that means to my people. She reached out and touched Lily's temple. Warmth spread through Lily's mind. Not words, but feelings. Gratitude, awe, kinship, and something deeper, older than language. When Vela pulled away, Lily understood beauty. To Vela's people was not just appearance, it was courage, compassion, the willingness to stand alone for what is right. You are beautiful too, Vela said softly. Lily laughed, tears in her eyes. Now I can't speak again. They sat in silence as stars blinked. To life above them, two women from different worlds, bound not by duty or design, but by a single honest moment in a glass-walled room, and somewhere in the dark between galaxies. The Krell still hunted, but here on this quiet moon, hope glowed brighter. Then fear. Lily knew the fight wasn't over, but for now they were safe, and that was enough. The signal pulsed outward from the cradle like a heartbeat made of starlight and memory. It traveled through dead zones, warped space, and silent voids, reaching places no ship had ever touched for weeks. Nothing answered. Then one night, a flicker appeared on the cradle's inner sky, a single point of light blinking in rhythm with the song Lily and Vela had woven together. It was not a ship. It was a mind waking up. Vela stood on the crystal bridge, her sister beside her, both watching the sky with breath held tight. Lily joined them, her hands cold but steady. That is one of them. She said the ones we called. To Vela nodded. But we do not know if they come in peace or pain. Her sister spoke softly. They come in both. The being of light who guarded the cradle's gate floated near. They will arrive soon. The veil thins for them. The Krell cannot follow through. A mind that remembers love days past as the distant light grew closer. Lily prepared the landing platform while Vela and her sister worked in the archive chamber, weaving new glyphs that blended human words with their ancestral script. They were writing a new story, not of loss, but of return when the visitor finally emerged from the storm. It was not in a warship, but in a broken pod patched with scrap metal and hope. The hatch opened slowly and a figure stepped out tall, thin with skin like weathered stone and eyes that held galaxies of sorrow. Vela's sister ran forward and embraced her. They spoke in a language Lily did not know, but the tears needed no translation. More signals came after that, one by one, like stars returning to a dark sky. Refugees not just from Vela's world, but from others. The Krell had consumed humans too, some taken as children. Their memories rewritten, their voices silenced. Lily met each one with open hands and quiet words. She did not offer grand speeches, only warmth, food, and a place to remember who they were. Nora's seed pod had sprouted in the heart of the cradle vines of earth green curling around crystal spires. Flowers bloomed with petals that shimmered like Vela's skin, and roots that hummed with old songs. The sanctuary was no longer just a hiding place. It was becoming a home. But peace never lasts long. One morning, the cradle trembled, not from within but from outside the veil. A deep vibration that made the light bridges flicker and the archive glyphs dim. They are here. The beings of light said. Not one ship, but many. Lily ran to the observation spire and saw them, a fleet of Krell vessels, black and sharp like teeth biting at the edge of the nebula. They had not found a way through the silence, they had brought silence with them. A massive sphere hung at the center of their formation, pulsing with false calm. It was the mind anchor, a device built from stolen memories and twisted love, designed to mimic the cradle's peace and trick its gates open. Vela stood beside Lily, her face pale but resolute. They will use my sister's memories against us. Lily took her hand. Then we remind her who she really is. They gathered all the awakened ones in the central chamber. Vela's sister at the front, Lily beside her. The beings of light formed a circle around them and began to sing, not with voices, but with light, weaving a shield of true memory around the cradle. Outside, the Krell fleet advanced, the mind anchor glowing brighter, mimicking the song but hollow like an echo in an empty room. The cradle's gates began to waver. Lily knew words would not be enough this time. She turned to Vela. We have to go out there. Vela understood at once, but it is death. Maybe, Lily said. Or maybe it is the only way to show them what real silence feels like. They boarded the old shuttle, the one that had brought them here, its hull scarred but strong. Vela's sister insisted on coming. I know the anchor from the inside, I can break its hold. As they flew toward the fleet, the cradle's song wrapped around them, a thread of light connecting them to home. The Krell ships did not fire, they waited. The anchor pulsed, sending waves of false calm meant to lull them into surrender. But Lily did not slow down. She flew straight for the sphere, her hands steady on the control. At the last moment, Vela's sister reached out, not with her hands but with her mind. She touched the anchor's core and screamed. Memories flooded out, not the Krell's lies but truth. Her mother's lullaby, the taste of rain on her homeworld, the feel of her sister's hand. The anchor cracked, the Krell fleet shuddered. In that moment of weakness, Lily activated the shuttle's final gift. Nora's last surprise, a resonance bomb built from human music and alien glyphs. It did not explode with fire, but with feeling. The blast washed over the fleet, not destroying but awakening. One by one, the Krell ships went dark, then lit up with soft light, their hulls blooming with forgotten glyphs. Their drones stepping onto hulls not as soldiers but as selves. The mind anchor shattered into dust. Silence returned, but this time it was real back in the cradle. The gates opened wide, not to hide but to welcome. The awakened Krell came not in ships but on foot, walking across the light bridges, some crying, some singing, some simply standing in awe of a sky that did not command them. Vela met them all, her sister at her side, Lily behind her, not as a leader but as a friend. Weeks turned to months. The cradle grew fuller. Gardens of earth and alien blooms spread across the crystal islands. Children played where warships once hovered, and the archive swelled with new stories, not just of survival, but of healing. Lily still missed Earth. Sometimes the smell of rain, the sound of birds. But she knew her place was here now, not because she had to stay, but because she chose Toon Evening. As she walked the outer bridge, she found Vela watching the stars. Do you think they will come back? She asked, meaning the Krell, who had not awakened. Vela was quiet for a long time, then said, The song is out there. Now it cannot be unheard. Even if they try to forget, someone will remember. And that is enough. Lily leaned against her shoulder, and they watched the sky together. Far away on a quiet moon, Nora received a message not in words, but in light. A single glyph that meant home. She smiled and added it to her wall of hope. In the cradle, life went on, not perfect, not easy but real. Two women who had once been alone now stood at the heart of a new beginning. Their hands clasped not in fear but in promise, and somewhere in the dark a child hummed a lullaby her mother had never taught her, but somehow knew. The song lived, and so did they. The cradle had grown beyond a sanctuary. It had become a crossroads, a place where lost souls found not just shelter but purpose. Mia, now older and sure of her steps, led groups of newcomers through the memory gardens, teaching them how to listen to the trees, while Kayla trained scouts to carry the song into the outer rim in ships built from hope and scrap. Metallerly still wrote every night her stories, now filling crystal scrolls that glowed when read aloud. Vela wove each one into the living archive so no voice would ever fade again. They had learned that memory was not just about the past. It was a promise to the future. One morning, a strange signal pulsed through the veil. Not a song, not a call, but a question, simple and raw in basic English. Who is Lily? Lily stood at the observation spire, her heart pounding. She had not heard her name spoken like that in years, not with wonder but with need. Vela joined her, the glyphs on her arms swirling with caution. It could be a trap, or it could be someone who heard the stories, Lily replied. They decided to answer not with silence but with truth. Lily sent back a single message. I am here. Hours passed. Then a small vessel appeared at the edge of the nebula, battered and old its hull, marked with the faded logo of a long-lost Earth science fleet. The Orion. Lily's breath caught. That is my old ship. But it was not the Orion as she remembered it. The hull was patched with alien alloys, and the comms array bloomed with vines. The hatch opened and a woman stepped out, tall with kind eyes and a scar across her cheek. She wore a uniform, but it was worn soft with time. Lily recognized her at once. Dr. Carter? Her old supervisor from the xenobiology wing. You are alive, Lily whispered. Dr. Carter smiled barely. You left quite a mess behind you, junior xenolinguist. They met on the light bridge, neither sure whether to hug or stand apart. I came to say thank you, Dr. Carter said. Finally, the stories reached Earth not as myth, but as proof that compassion is stronger than fear. Because of you, the Alliance changed its policy. No more containment, no more fear. We now seek to understand. Lily looked back at Vela, who stood waiting with quiet grace. Then this is not just my doing, no, Dr. Carter said. But you started it. He stayed for 3 days, touring the cradle, meeting the awakened ones, even tasting fruit from the memory tree when she left. She carried a crystal scroll filled with Lily's latest story, and a single seed from the archive as her ship vanished into the veil. Lily felt something shift, not loss but connection. Earth was no longer a place she had left behind. It was a place she had changed. Weeks later, another signal came, this time from deep in Krell space. A drone ship, not hunting, but broadcasting a new glyph, one that meant peace and return. Vela's people were not the only ones the Krell had stolen. Others had awakened too, and they were coming home. The cradle prepared not with fear but with open arms. New bridges of light stretched outward, new gardens bloomed with seeds from 100 worlds, and the mirror of the Watchers showed not just memories but dreams of what could be. Lily began teaching again. Not just language, but how to build trust, how to listen. Not just with ears, but with heart. She sat with a former Krell enforcer who trembled every time he saw his own hands, until Mia showed him how to plant seeds and watch them grow. Vela worked with the elders of the awakened, crafting a new council, not of rulers, but of listeners, each voice equal, each story. Honored one evening as they walked the outer rim, a child ran up to them breathless. A boy no older than 8, his skin faintly glowing with half-formed glyphs. He held out a small stone. It hums, he said. Lily took it and felt a pulse warm and steady. It was a message stone from the Oort Cloud Sanctuary, Nora's last outpost. She activated it, and Nora's voice filled the air, faint but clear. They are coming, Lily. The final fleet. The Krell High Mind has Awakened and it is afraid, silence fell over the cradle. The high mind was not a ship or a being. It was the core of the hive, the source of all control. And now it knew the song was spreading beyond its reach. Vela's glyphs burned gold with resolve. We cannot hide. No, Lily said. We do not hide, we stand. They called the council not in the heart chamber but in the open under the nebulous sky. Every awakened one present, even the newest arrivals. The boy with the stone stood beside Mia, the former enforcer. Beside Kayla, Dr. Carter's seed had sprouted near the mirror, its leaves shaped like human hands reaching upward. Lily spoke not as a leader but as one of many. We have two choices: we run, or we show the high mind what it has lost. Vela stepped forward, and what it could become. They chose to send no weapons, no threats, only an invitation. A single shuttle carrying Lily, Vela, Kayla, and the boy with the stone. They would go to the edge of Krell space and broadcast the full archive. Not as data, but as feeling. The journey took 10 days, the shuttle humming with the weight of 1,000,000 memories on the final approach. The high mind appeared not as a ship, but as a storm of black light swirling with broken thoughts and stolen names. It spoke in 1,000 voices at once. You are noise, you are chaos, you will be silenced. Lily activated the broadcast. The archive poured out not as sound, but as light as scent, as touch. The high mind saw its own birth. Not as a weapon, but as a child of loneliness. It saw the first world it consumed and the mother who sang to her child as the sky fell. It saw Lily's hand on the glass. It saw Vela's tears. It saw Mia's dog running through grass. It saw the tree, the mirror, the light bridges, the boy holding, the stone the storm stilled. For the first time in eons, the high mind felt not hunger but sorrow. You remember us, the high mind whispered. We never forgot you, Lily said. The black light softened, then split into 1,000 points, each one a mind waking. Up the high mind was not destroyed, it was healed. As they returned to the cradle, the sky bloomed with new stars, not real stars, but signals from every corner of the galaxy. The song had reached them all. On Earth, Dr. Carter stood on a balcony watching. The night sky as a new constellation formed, shaped like two hands clasped together. In the Oort cloud. Nora watered her garden, now filled with cradle vines, and smiled. In the cradle, Lily and Vela stood on their favorite bridge watching the nebula swirl with colors no one had seen before. The boy with the stone sat at their feet, carving a new glyph into the crystal, one that meant beginning. Mia walked past, leading a group of children toward the memory tree. Her voice soft as she told them the story of a girl who once could not speak because she saw something beautiful, and far beyond the veil, a former Krell drone planted a seed in dead soil and waited for it to sing. The galaxy was still vast and full of shadows, but now it also held light, not because the darkness was gone, but because someone had dared to say, you are so beautiful, I cannot speak. And in that moment, everything had changed. Lily leaned her head on Vela's shoulder and knew they had not just saved a people. They had reminded the universe that even the smallest voice could echo through stars. The song would go on, and so would they. The cradle had become a beacon not of war but of return. Ships arrived daily now. Not just broken pods but vessels rebuilt with hope, painted on their hulls in human script and alien glyphs. The refugees came from every corner of the galaxy. Some with no memory at all, only a pull in their chest toward the song that Lily and Vela had sent into the dark. Lily no longer wore her old uniform. She dressed in soft robes woven from cradle vines and earth cotton, her hair longer now, often braided, with glowing threads that pulsed when she spoke to the newly awakened ones. She taught them human words for kindness, patience, and home. While Vela showed them how to read the light in their own skin again. Vela's sister, whose name was Kayla, had taken to tending the archive gardens where Nora's seed pod had grown into a great tree, its branches heavy with fruit that shimmered like captured starlight. Each fruit held a memory, not just of Earth, but of all the worlds the Krell had tried to erase. When someone ate one, they did not just remember. They felt whole. One morning, Kyla found Lily by the outer rim watching a new ship descend, its hull patched with metal from a dozen different cultures. They are scared, Lily said without turning. Kyla stood beside her. Yes, but they will not be for long. The hatch opened and a young human girl stepped out, no older than 16. her eyes wide with fear and wonder. She wore a tattered flight suit marked with the insignia of a colony ship lost years. Near proximality walked down the light bridge, slowly, hands open, palms up. "I am Lily," she said in basic English. The girl flinched, then whispered, "My name is Mia. They took me when I was 10. I do not remember my parents, only dreams of green fields, and a dog that barked at the Starlily's throat tightened. Come with me." She led Mia to the memory tree and offered her a fruit soft and warm like sunlight. Mia ate it and wept, not from sadness but from recognition. That night Mia slept in a room, lined with soft moss and walls that hummed lullabies in forgotten tongues for the first time in years. She did not dream of cages as the days passed. Maya began to help in the gardens, her hands quick and gentle with the seedlings. She asked Lily once, "Why do you stay here when you could go back to Earth, Lily?" Looked toward Vela, who stood on the far bridge teaching a group of awakened ones how to weave light into cloth, because home is not a place, she said, it is who you protect. Mia nodded as if she understood. But peace in the cradle was not without cost. The song they had sent out had awakened many, but it had also drawn attention from older powers beings who had watched the Krell rise and fall, and now saw the cradle not as a sanctuary, but as a threat. One evening the sky darkened, not from storm but from shadow. A vessel unlike any they had seen before, smooth and silver like liquid metal. It hovered at the edge of the veil, silent and patient. The beings of light gathered at once, their forms dimming with unease. "Who are they?" Lily asked. "They are the Watchers. Kayla said they existed before the Krell, before my people. They do not destroy, they erase. They believe memory is chaos and silence is order." Vela's glyphs flickered red. "They will not let us keep the archive." Lily clenched her jaw. "Then we show them that memory is not chaos, it is courage." They called a council in the heart chamber, all the awakened ones present. Even Mia, who sat quietly near the back. The Watchers had sent no message, no demand, only presence, and that was warning enough. "We cannot fight them with weapons," Lily said. "They are older than war. Then we fight with truth," Vela replied. They decided to send an envoy, not to plead, but to invite the Watchers into the cradle to show them what memory truly was. Lily volunteered at once. Vela refused. "You are too precious to lose, and you are too angry to be calm." Lily countered, "I am human, small and soft. They will not see me as a threat." In the end, they both went together with Kayla and Mia standing guard at the gate. The silver ship opened without sound, and a figure emerged, tall and featureless, its body shifting like smoke. It spoke not in words but in absence, a silence so deep it made Lily's ears. Why do you keep the broken things?" the Watcher asked, meaning the memories, because they are not broken. Lily said, "They are lessons." The Watcher tilted its head show. Vela stepped forward and touched the Watcher's arm, not with fear but with sorrow. In that moment the archive opened, not as data but as feeling. The Watcher saw Vela's world burning, saw children hiding in caves, saw songs carved into stone to outlive death. It saw Lily's hands holding hers in the dark, saw Mia's first smile, saw the tree blooming with hope. The Watcher staggered back. "You carry pain and call it light. We carry truth and call it life." Lily said. For a long time the Watcher was still. Then it spoke again. "What will you do when the Krell return stronger?" "We will be ready," Lily said. "Not with weapons, but with more songs." The Watcher studied them, then turned and walked back to its ship. As it lifted away, it left behind a single silver seed planted. The voice echoed, "It will show you what we once were." They planted the seed at the base of the memory tree. By morning, it had grown into a mirror, not of glass but of thought. Anyone who looked into it saw not their face, but their deepest memory. The one that shaped Themia saw her dog running through tall grass. Lily saw herself whispering, "You are so beautiful I cannot speak." Vela saw her mother placing the archive in her blood. The Watchers had not come to destroy. They had come to remember. Weeks passed and the cradle grew stronger. The mirror became a place of healing, not just for the awakened, but for those who carried guilt or shame. They faced their past and found forgiveness in its light. Lily began writing again. Not logs or reports, but stories of the people who came through the veil. She wrote of a Krell drone who became a gardener of sound, a human engineer who built instruments from scrap to play songs for the light beings, a child who spoke only in colors until the tree gave her words. Vela read each story and wove them into the archive so they would never be lost. One night as they sat beneath the mirror watching stars reflect in its surface, Vela turned to Lily. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you had not spoken that day in the Orion? Lily smiled. Every day, but I do not need to wonder. I am here. Vela took her hand and their glyphs glowed together. Not as two lights but as one far away on Earth, news of the cradle had spread not as fact but as myth. Some called it a fairy tale, others a warning. But a few young xenolinguists packed their bags and looked to the stars whispering names like Lily and Vela, hoping to find a place where beauty was not weakness but strength on the icy moon. Nora received another message this time. A full song. Not just a glyph. She played it for her newest refugees and they wept with joy. In the cradle, Maya taught the children how to speak to the trees while Kayla trained scouts to carry the song beyond the veil. Not to fight but to find those still lost. Lily and Vela walked the bridges every evening hand in hand, not as hero and princess but as partners in a world they had built from broken pieces. The Watchers never returned, but sometimes on quiet nights, a silver light would flicker at the edge of the nebula, watching not with judgment but with hope. The Krell were not gone, but their hunger had changed. Some still hunted, but others now wandered searching for the song they could not forget. And in the heart of the cradle, the archive grew not just in size but in soul. Every new story adding a thread to the tapestry of survival. Lily knew the galaxy was still vast and dangerous, but she also knew that as long as one person chose kindness over fear, the song would never end. She looked at Vela sleeping beside her in their room of woven light and knew she had found not just love but purpose. Outside the cradle, a new ship arrived. Its lights blinking in the rhythm of the song. Lily rose and walked to the gate, ready to welcome another lost soul home, because that was what they did now. They remembered, they healed, they loved, and in doing so, they changed the stars themselves.